Okay, so I've been in a bit of a Friends mood of late, being that it's 25 years since a premiere. Um, I don't need to explain why Friends is so popular. I made a video on that. It really needs no introduction, and the chances are, if you're watching this video, you'll be familiar with the show. But if you're not, basically, it was about a group of young New Yorkers in their 20s and 30s, their relationships, and specifically the friendship. But throughout the show, there was a recurring sort of theme of introducing guest celebrity cameos. This included people like Danny DeVito, Christina Applegate, Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, and many others. But there were some characters that were supporting characters, not quite as important as the six main friends, but they were all quite important in their own right because they help to form storyline arches and so on. So I'm going to put the question out there. If there was a seventh friend, who would it be and why? So I'm going to name a few potential candidates and run down why and why not they would be the seventh friend if there was a seventh friend. You might even argue there's a seventh and eighth friend if we want to make male and female. Okay, in terms of actual appearances, by far the second most frequent appearance of any supporting cast member is that of James Michael Tyler, who played Gunther. And let me just double check I have got that name right. See, because I'm kind of looking at a list here, so bear with me. Um, yeah, I'll go with that. James Michael Tyler, who played Gunther. Now, Gunther was the owner of Central Perk, which is a coffee shop featured in Friends, and he appeared in no fewer than 150 plus episodes. I believe it was 156 to be precise, which is by far the second highest appearance of any supporting cast member. But it isn't until, yeah, James Michael Tyler, it isn't until episode 33 that he actually has a speaking role. Now, Gunther's a difficult one to judge because there isn't a huge amount of character development, although he makes a lot of appearances. All we know is he has a sort of unrequited lust for Rachel, um, and he often finds the interaction of the friends amusing. He's often kind of like eavesdropping. But other than that, there isn't a huge deal of character development. He comes across as quite a likable, down to earth guy. He's roughly the same age as the friends, but unfortunately, he's always kind of in the shadows, so it's difficult to see him being included. And you get the impression if he ever were to be a friend, the only time the friends really interact with him is if they kind of need him for something. So one gets the impression that they've never really had seen him as other than the guy that works in the coffee shop. So that kind of rules him out. Then we come to the second most appearances, which actually goes to Ross and Monica's parents, the Geller parents, Judy and Jack. They're played by Elliot Gould and Christina Pickles, who I found out was actually born in Leeds, although she puts on a very convincing, in my opinion, upstate New York accent. They have some of the funniest lines in the series, in my opinion, and they make something like 22 appearances for Jack Geller, 21 appearances for Judy Geller. They have some very memorable and funny lines and episodes. Um, so they have the second highest number of appearances, and they certainly have some memorable scenes. Could they be the seventh and eighth friends? Maybe not. And the simple reason for that is the generation gap. They're, we assume, in their late 50s, early 60s. So it's just a generation gap. It's not really plausible. Plus, they don't live in New York City. They live, I believe, in Long Island. So, yeah, that would rule them out. Now, after that, the next highest number of appearances I understand is Janice, played by Maggie Wheeler. She has 19 appearances. She's a very memorable supporting cast member with her very annoying drawl. Um, but she also has some very funny lines and some memorable episodes. She is on-off girlfriend of Chandra Bing, and yeah, I'm not sure if she could really be the seventh cast member because the others simply find her so annoying. So although she has some very funny lines, the chemistry would never work. The others just find her too annoying. Um, then we get into Mike Hannigan, who is Phoebe's boyfriend in series 10, I believe it is, played by um, played by Paul Rudd. Now this guy's interesting. He has some pretty good lines. The writing for this character is good. He is definitely a good composite, a good match for Phoebe, I should say. I particularly like the episode where she has to impress his wealthy parents. Um, Now, he's roughly the same age as the friends. He's got, I would argue, more character development than any other boyfriend or girlfriend match throughout the series, and there are many. Um, the only thing with Mike is he joins pretty late, and fans of Paul Rudd decry that fact. They wish he joined the series a bit earlier, and it almost feels like his character is rushed in as another as a significant other for Phoebe towards the end. I'll come back to Mike. Um, let's see. There are other supporting cast members. Helen Baxendale, who plays Ross's love interest in series five, the British girl, Emily. Now, a little bit of fun trivia about Emily. She appears in a few episodes, and she initially comes out across as quite stuck up, but you realize it's just because she's had a very long night. She ends up being quite sweet, but then in the end, she gets a little bit possessive of Ross. The jury's still out on whose fault that really is. I've got mixed feelings on that. I think she is a little bit controlling, but you can also see that Rachel's actually acting a bit manipulatively. After all, it's her that sets up the relationship in the first place. So the jury's out on that one. And you can understand Emily being pissed when Ross says Rachel's name at the wedding. Now, a bit of fun trivia. Helen Baxendale, who plays Emily in Friends, actually played a character called Rachel Bradley. Yes, Rachel Bradley in a British series called Cold Feet, which is sort of our answer to Friends. It was set in Manchester. It was about a group of six young people who were friends in Manchester. The only difference was it was a bit more serious. It was a bit more of the drama side of things. But that's a bit of irony. Could she be the seventh friend? In all honesty, probably not, simply because of the tensions with Rachel and the fact that she was always just there because she was Ross's girlfriend. She never really got on with the others. There wasn't much chemistry with the others, let alone Rachel. So it never would have really worked out. Um, and I think she would have been in constant competition with Rachel. Um, Interestingly enough, she was sort of the Rachel type character in Cold Feet. Then you get other supporting characters, John Favreau, who played the millionaire boyfriend of Monica, Pete Becker. Hank Azaria, who played David, Phoebe's boyfriend in early on, I believe, series one. Um, and you get others. June Gable, who played Joey's agent Estelle. Well, that's just really a work relationship. So when all is considered, I think it would have to go to Mike Hannigan. Although there are many boyfriends and girlfriends throughout the series with pretty much all the cast members, Mike, I think, is most similar to the Friends cast. He is the one that is most plausible as an extra friend. I mean, Tag is funny and Tag is sort of quirky, but he's a bit younger than the others, whereas the character of Mike is about their age. So if there is a seventh friend, I mean, if you look at the scenes with Mike, you could very easily see him sitting on the Central Perk couch with the others. So I think it would have to go to Mike Hannigan. It's not that he had the most appearances, like I say, that goes to Gunther and Jack and Judy Geller. But I think when you analyze from every angle, plus the fact he seemed to get on well with all the friends, so I'd say it would have to go to Mike as the seventh friend. And I haven't named everyone. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts. If you disagree with that, who do you think should be the seventh friend or the seventh and eighth friends, and why?